to know why they call me Mo? This voice recorder is not working very well right now, but I don't know. There it is. It's 12 seconds in. They call me Mo because I always want Mo. More stuff. More money.
Mo stuff. Mo money. Mo problems.
It's not even working.
That was just all air.
You almost got it.
It's not working.
Fuck.
Oh, hey everybody.
Sorry.
Joseph's just apologizing to your poor ears. We're
Someone
back.
has to. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. Welcome to the finally rebranded Whistlemania podcast.
Whistlemania, baby.
I won't.
The granddaddy of them all.
I won't hurt your ears anymore. Maybe later, but not right now. I feel a little bad about that. But hi, I'm Nathan.
I'm Joseph.
Today we have a friend. He'll chime in occasionally. You heard his voice earlier.
Yeah, you got me there.
And my roommate, KC. And so he'll join in occasionally, maybe in the background.
Baby.
Wild card.
Wild card, baby. Well, last time we left off was quite a bit ago.
Yeah. The last thing we talked about was Aloha.
Yeah. Who could forget that great Cameron Crowe classic?
Yeah, Triple C.
Triple C.
Chocolate Chip Charlie?
Oh no, Chocolate Chip Charlie's coming. And anyone who's ever listened to the last podcast knows that actually we watched the stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that a little later. But we actually made an amendment from the previous announcement. Anyone who actually listened to the end knows that we were going to watch An Actor's Revenge.
Yeah.
But we actually switched it up.
Yeah, we changed our minds.
Because just accessibility, timing, and all that stuff. So both... Accessibility, yeah. That's our word of the day. Remember that. Write that down, folks.
That would have been the time for the slide.
We watched... we watched a little Gene... Why did I almost... Billy Wilder. I don't know why...
Yeah, you almost said Gene Wilder.
I almost said Gene Wilder.
Billy Jean?
Yes. Billy Gene Wilder. Film Ace in the Hole with Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. We got stuff in the hole today.
We got stuff in the hole. That's what we're going to do instead of An Actor's Revenge stuff.
Yeah. See, the titles didn't go together for those two.
So we decided to mix it up. So, stuff in the hole. So, before we get into this cool stuff, we would like to sponsor this video with a little product. It's called The Stuff. You may have heard of it. You may have tasted it. It's wonderful. It's tasteful. It's honestly, it's made me the smartest, the best, the most handsome, the strongest, the most attractive. I've always been these things. Mainly because of the stuff. And if anyone didn't catch that, I'm quoting this movie. I want a little bit more structure before we get into this, but...
Yeah.
Honestly, I wondered. I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't think we had any sponsors yet. But...
I'm like, wait, we have a sponsor here? No, we don't have any sponsors. Damn. But no. So before we get into this, though, Joseph and I, we actually went to Seattle.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess that's a big reason why it's been a while since we've recorded one of these. It's been a while. Held my head up high.
Well, yeah. So
That's also true.
We went up there for clearly grunge.
That song hits really close to home for me.
Clearly, we went at Seattle to wear lumberjack clothes and listen to grunge. But that's not true. We actually went to a music festival up there, actually. Northwest Terror Fest. It was a really awesome metal festival that showcases doom, grindcore, black metal, death metal, among other genres of metal. A lot of underground bands, and it was a really good time.
It was great.
And we actually got some records, listened to a lot of great bands.
Explored a lot of the city, which if you guys haven't been to Seattle before, it's highly recommended. It's a really wonderful place.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm anxious to go back because I wasn't ready to leave. I still think about all the nice areas we found down there, all those like little quiet little sub parts of the city.
Yeah, I mean,
adds a lot of character to it.
Just like a mile away from our like Airbnb where we stayed, I walked to a coffee shop every day, and that whole street was like a mixture of like people who were always just there, but also like it seemed like a completely different city.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And so,
from Star Wars.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the same that song played.
It just played the whole time. I'm like, I feel like I'm at home.
Is every time that you came in
Yeah.
is welcoming you.
But no, I read a lot actually. Oh shit, he's here. Play it. Cue the music. That would have been great if they did that for me. But no, I was happy. And then Joey stayed a little bit longer, but
yeah, I went to Oregon, which is also nice. Very, very interesting place.
But yeah, we had a good time, but we are back.
Vacation's over.
Vacation's over. That means we have to get the stuff in the hole, and that's what we got to do.
Back on that grind.
It's like on that grind. We haven't watched movies lately. I mean, we've seen a couple in theaters probably, but
yeah, that's for sure.
yeah, we did see yesterday.
I saw
Both.
I saw yesterday too.
What we all say? Yeah.
Hold on.
What'd you? Okay, well, I know how Casey feels about it, but I haven't asked Joey. Joey, what'd you think?
I think I kind of hated it.
Oh no,
Get the wrong answer.
it's okay. Well, I think Casey and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't.
Did you hate it?
Yeah.
I just didn't care about.
I hated it. That was it. I just hated it.
Yeah.
It definitely felt you couldn't get on. You couldn't get. It felt like a little tailor-made.
Yeah. It.
Like distant.
Yeah. I couldn't really latch on to anything about it. Really, it just felt. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I could definitely tell it was made by Danny Boyle because I definitely had some like Slumdog Millionaire tendencies to it, where like the heartfelt moments, and except Slumdog's obviously a much better film, but at least in the kind of showbizy aspect of it all, I mean, I can tell there was moments where like I felt like it was a Danny Boyle film, but at the same time, it's like this. It's hard to see like this guy did 28 Days Later and Sunshine and all these and Train Spotting, and it's like
There is a part in yesterday where people watch a train go by, so it
there you go,
Yeah.
Train Spotting. There it is,
trademark.
trademark Danny Boyle.
Did he do 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I had no idea.
But anyway, so yeah, we've been gone for a little bit, but that's okay. We're back in the groove, and I'm happy to start this podcast with what movie you want to talk about, Joey? First.
I think we'll start with Ace in the Hole.
Okay.
We'll get business out of the way before we
Get silly.
dive into whatever we just witnessed.
Yeah, we just finished the stuff, so
We
that's
just got
a little.
stuffed.
We just got stuffed. All of our orifices. Orfi. I don't exactly know how the plural of that is, but it got everywhere. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It moves on its own, but it definitely got in the hole, though. And I'm talking about Ace in the Hole.
That was
1951.
perfect transition. Got things right back where they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to describe Ace in the Hole? Just what it's about, maybe?
Yeah, I'll be real brief about it. So this movie came out in 1951. It's by Billy Wilder, director of really great mini films from different kind of just Hollywood perspectives, I
Yeah.
feel like. And this one is a little bit more of like kind of like the film that is like digging at the news industry
Right. Yeah.
and the sensationalism of it all.
It makes sense that he made this because the only other Billy Wilder that I've seen was Sunset Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of what he did with like the entertainment industry, but this time he just kind of turns it to like news media.
Yeah.
Sort of attacks it the same way.
Yep, and so this film is starring Kirk Douglas, who is just this reporter who's worked at various different newspapers and has a notorious kind of reputation about him about being like a liar and like kind of disgusting and does all these things, but like he's a good reporter though still, but he just does it in very like nefarious and cynical ways.
Right. Yeah. You kind of get the impression that he will go to like really crazy lengths just to be able to get a story that people will pay attention to, but he knows exactly what people want, even if he has to do some pretty heinous things and he has to fabricate some things.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this movie explores. It kind of just, he happens to want to write a story about these rattlesnakes in this town. He wanted to fabricate something where he would actually, there would be like snakes loose in a town and they'd catch all of them but one because he would have it in his drawer like the whole time on the last day. And
just saying, like, the first like little part of this movie when it introduces him, he's just saying all kinds of crazy like sociopathic things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Which I think this film is ahead of its time in the fact that it has like its lead character be somebody that's like as despicable as they make this man.
This isn't a typical 50s film, that's for sure.
No, yeah. It's I was honestly really kind of shocked at how savage it got at times and how scathing of a critique of culture at that time was.
Yeah, and I think when this movie came out, it was not at all widely accepted. Because most of the people who were watching this, the critics, are the newspaper men, and they're very harsh on it.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, they probably weren't ready for it.
No, they weren't, because it was a much different time period. It was the early 50s.
Yeah.
This is coming right after World War II, not too long after. And yeah, we just weren't used to that type of cinema yet. And so, but anyway, yeah, Kirk Douglas is this asshole reporter this entire time. And you kind of see him fabricate a story and see that unfold. And that's kind of the story. Yeah. I don't really want to go too deep into it, but
just basically how this situation just continually gets worse and worse and worse. But yeah, I think this movie is pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Like I had kind of said before, it feels a lot like it's in the same vein as like a Sunset Boulevard is, and that it kind of deconstructs, or at least makes its audience kind of forces them to take a look at an aspect of culture, and it kind of just tears it apart and shows the ugly side of it.
Yeah, it's weird how, obviously, coming from like a consumer, obviously I'm not a journalist myself or somebody in this position who writes or anything like that, but there are moments of this film that reminds me of just the fervor of like the populace and like how sensationalism can really capture just a group of people and that tribal aspect of it. And in fact, it's really still relevant to today. I think there's a lot of aspects of this film that like are very, like we were saying earlier, it's very ahead of its time because this is still extremely relevant to today.
Yeah.
In fact, this honestly reminded me a lot of like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, definitely.
To an extent. In the modern sense, at least.
Yeah. Definitely feels that Kirk Douglas's character was definitely like a pretty big influence in the creation of Lou Bloom in Nightcrawler. Yeah, I could definitely see kind of the parallels with that. And another crazy thing about this movie is that it 100%, I know you had mentioned to me before that it was based on an actual real life sort of incident that happened.
Yeah.
But just watching it and seeing how these pieces are put together and how this mess is made, it completely feels like it could be could have been a real incident that happened back then that you just like would see like a documentary about or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of before television really hit everybody. Like, television existed, but it wasn't really that, like, people went to the movies, right? But, like, I feel like the radio played a big influence. Like, they showed that in the movie.
Yeah.
How much of an influence, like, you know, when sensationalism kicked in, trying to gather all these people around this event that, you know, is the centerpiece of the story.
Yeah.
There's all of the people are coming, trying to, like, give their own story, and a lot of them are going off track like a normal person would. I mean, we do the same thing, but, like, if you're being interviewed for something, you're just a normal kind of average person telling a story, and then somebody else comes in and is like, oh yes, I've been in a situation like this, but like in a completely different way. And this was, I think that Wilder was like trying to critique just the fervor. I mean, this goes along with what Casey was actually just mentioning. There are some times where people kind of just go forward with something without really like putting much thought into
Just because it's something.
the context. And yeah, it's an event. Something's happening, everyone wants to be involved. So I get that, Casey, when you were saying that, because like there's some truth to the movement and there is some truth to the fabricated event that happens in this particular movie, but people always want to be involved in something. And like that is something that just humans draw to. So anyway.
Yeah. And another, I guess this could be like a final point that I would like to touch on is that this movie it feels another way that it feels ahead of its time is that it felt very much like a dark comedy, and I think this was like way before that was really a thing, you know, because like just like some of the commentary here is just like so brutal about just like the way people were back then and how they were manipulated and how they show their true colors, that it's just like insane that it's even that Wilder and everybody that made this just were able to go there. So it's one that definitely stands the test of time and still holds value in what it's got to say, for sure.
Yeah, and I'd like to add something to that a little bit. I also really liked how Wilder portrayed like the lead character, Kirk Douglas, just being like this chauvinistic kind of like male who like took charge of a lot of things, but like you know, you see that aspect of the power. I mean, this is the 1950s, so I mean, you have to take into account that men were in charge of everything back then, and like, but this was a pretty bold kind of like, you know, showing of like sometimes people can abuse that kind of power. Yeah, and like it definitely showed in this film in particular aspects of where, and even in what's her name, the lead actress in the film, which I'm Jan Sterling Lorraine. She is also very cold in this film, and
which also comes as kind of a surprise too, just from like how she's introduced, and then all of a sudden you learn more about her,
and she's just as evil as Kirk Douglas in a way, in a very different way. It's just very self-centered. Both of them are very self-centered characters.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, and you know that's where you're going to see the aspect of this realization of what this film really kind of is trying to show you, how selfish people can be, and how the lengths the people will go just to either make money, get famous, be a part of something, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So It's a really good film. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, same.
So I guess we're going to have to get out of this hole with some stuff.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. There we go.
There it is.
Hey, stuffing time. All right. Well, this movie we just watched, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Me included.
And Jesus Christ.
Once.
It was 80 minutes of heaven.
It was an 80 minutes of heaven, that's for sure.
Am I right?
Well, from the first beginning shot, Joe, you want to talk about the beginning shot?
Yeah. So,
Not even 10 minutes in.
yeah, this movie opens within the span of 20 seconds. It's the first shot. This old guy walks into the frame. He sees a puddle of this white bubbling goo. And so he says, oh. And then he just sticks his hand in it, and then he tastes it, and he says, oh, that's not so bad. And that's the first 20 seconds of this movie.
And just, yeah.
Because right off the bat, it's like...
This is how this happened.
Well, yeah, because naturally if you see a bubbling pile of white goo, you just have to try it out, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Well, as like young children and kindergarten and stuff.
Except it's an old man.
People
I know, this is old
people
man.
eat paste. Oh, come on, just roll it. People eat.
Well, I mean, based on everybody
see
who
how-
acted in this movie, it kind of does remind me of just a child doing random different things.
Yeah.
I want more glue.
You want Mo glue? We'll get to Mo. Okay. Our protagonist, if you will.
Yeah.
Our drunk protagonist.
Right.
The guy who can't drive a car. Well, actually can miraculously drive a car straight whilst moving. Though.
Whilst moving the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I guess
Very talented.
before we get into the craziness of this movie, let's kind of try to explain what it's about. I mean,
It's about consumerism,
It's about
baby.
Yeah, yes, it's a sci-fi satirical market. Like it's on consumerism and capitalism. That's for sure.
Yeah, just like the
Sentient.
pseudo
Pseudo.
the simplest like critique of American consumerism.
Yes, but it's literally a product that's killing us.
Yep.
Yeah, and controlling our minds and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I will try to briefly explain the setting of this because it goes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't know where the stuff goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it just does. Sometimes it do. It be
I
like
don't
that.
think it'd be like that.
Sometimes it do. But so you got Mo Rutherford.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why they call him Mo, guys?
For various reasons.
I think I would like to know why his name is that.
So they call Mo. His actual name's David, but they call me Mo because every time. I'm actually acting in character. I'm actually acting in character because he's drunk the
true.
whole time.
Yeah, he's drunk and almost every line he has is completely incomprehensible because he's just mumbling.
It's weird because he starts most of his statements out pretty strong, but then it just drops off.
drops
at some
off.
Point, and then it just.
Yeah.
They call me Mo because I always want Mo from somebody.
And then
He always wants Mo.
He wants Mo money,
And then there was the tickling.
Mo stuff, and there was some fondling.
He's
I
doing.
don't exactly know.
I spent the entire time we were watching this movie trying to figure out what this actor was doing. He's just like he's wearing. It looks like he has a toupee on, and he's just mumbling in like his southern drawl. And yeah, I couldn't quite figure him out.
You know, it's funny when you were talking about the whole in the last movie, like men controlling everything.
Mhm.
I wanted to pull up Mo as an example.
That's
just
that's
because
a
of
good
how he-
connection.
Yeah, because of how he started out.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Mo just like
It's like
totally walked into this room of business moguls, all these old men.
Moguls.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, he's
That's-
like,
that's
hey guys, what's up? You sweaty palm? Oh, sweaty palm?
Yeah, he's shaking hands with all these old.
I honestly, as the movie went on, I completely forgot about that.
Well, it had nothing
But-
to do with anything.
No, it really
It's
did.
true.
But it's fun to look back.
There's a
on.
lot of clips in this movie that have nothing to do with anything. But you know what? That makes it beautiful.
Yep.
That's
Makes
true.
It,
Then he punches a guy at the end of that
was
scene, and
It's action packed.
It's very action packed film. Honestly, there's some crazy things that I don't think I would ever believe unless I saw it.
Yeah.
So, and then he runs into his friend, this junk food mogul named Charles.
No. Chocolate.
AKA.
Oh, okay.
Chocolate Chip Carl.
Chocolate Chip Charlie, not Carl.
Carl.
I keep messing this up. I should not talk.
I wanted to make some remark about Marx because
Marx about Charles?
Because that one guy,
Chocolate Chip Charles,
a communist.
Oh, we'll talk about the communist
yeah.
son of a bitch, Alex Jones guy at the end.
Infowars Army.
Something happened.
This movie's also ahead of its time.
Chocolate Chip Karl Marx.
He predicted Alex Jones.
Yeah.
It's like South Park all over again, but before South Park.
I mean, that might have been actually a dab at the military. A jab. You know what? It's late. It's like fucking. It's
That's what I would have liked to see
it's
if
12:30.
fucking Mo just did a dab while he was talking to someone.
It's
I wouldn't
super
have been
ahead of his
surprised.
Man, okay, so we got Mo down, right? We got Chocolate Chip Charlie, who is this amazing, crazy homeless guy. It seems like.
Yeah. Is played by Garrett Morris? He's one of the original Saturday Night Live cast members.
So
I don't know how he ended up in this
Well, I mean,
years
clearly
later, but
he was.
I love how he's introduced too. That's my favorite part.
he just does some kung fu.
Over a car.
What is the thing he does? He's like, let me knock first.
Yeah.
And then he just like punches through a fucking window.
Yeah.
At which point I thought it seemed like an off-brand Rush Hour.
But he keeps saying that he has iron fists.
Which became less relevant as the movie went
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, yes.
Yeah, he was action packed. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He also seemed like he was on crack or cocaine of some sort.
Maybe.
And so going on with that, I feel like Mo was drunk the entire time.
Yeah, that feels like the best explanation for just the way that he acted in this movie, how he behaved.
It was very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a woman that he meets near the beginning that I honestly thought I was not going to see for a little bit. I was like, what happened to this plot?
Yeah, she just kind of disappears.
That's Andrea Markovici's character, who is the person who kind of branded the stuff and was the marketer.
Yeah, there's a little fashion show that she runs where these models in these
Her name's Nicole.
fur coats and swimsuits underneath are just walking down the runway, and then they just stop and they eat the stuff.
Yeah, because it's hot and sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, Rutherford, Mo, came and just introduced himself, and then pretty much they fell in love with each other instantaneously.
Is cute.
It's very cute. They were also had a lot of big dick energy here. Both of them did. They're like, it's like, you know how much money I make? It's like, you know how much money I make? And then they just kept trying to up each other with the limo and you should see. I bet mine's bigger.
Yeah.
It's like you going to a hotel? It's like, how about you just come to my hotel?
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's going on right now?
Perfect.
Perfect match in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the stuff in our mouths.
True.
And then we also have this kid. This plot with this
little
child.
boy.
Tanker kid. Got stuck in the tank.
Well, before he gets stuck in the tank, this kid that lives a normal family life. He doesn't get along with his older brother, but he's got a father who reads the paper every morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a mother who cares way too much, and they happen to get the stuff because that old man at the beginning.
Yeah, he was telling everyone that you gotta try it. So.
You gotta try it, and everyone's like, okay. No one else was like, why did you pick that shit up?
Look at this pile of goop I found. Here, try it.
Yeah, well, so this kid, he's like, I don't know, I saw this stuff move one night in the fridge,
Yeah.
And was like, I don't trust that.
At that point, I thought that maybe it was going to take a completely different turn. I thought it was going to be like he was the only one that noticed.
Yeah.
Which I guess is sort of relevant.
One of the few
I thought
people.
it was going to be like he was going to be the only one that was going to like, I guess, see through all of that.
Upon him seeing that, he went fucking crazy in the supermarket.
Yeah.
He did. Took
destroyed all of
to everything. Took it to the cooler.
That's the most
bashed out the glass. That was impressive.
Yeah.
That's the most insane probably thing I've ever seen in a supermarket.
Yeah,
and they couldn't stop him either.
Actually, have you seen that video of that guy that will take 2 gallons of milk and they don't pretend to slip? And just throw them in the
Yeah, well, that became a Vine thing for a while.
That was fun. I like that.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it is really terrible on the people who have to clean that up. So don't ever do that. If you're ever listening, don't ever do that shit.
For the kids.
Nah, dude.
Just watch the stuff. Get your anger out by watching this kid
Respect.
unleash. And he can't even be stopped either. That's the crazy thing. He can't be stopped by anybody.
That one dude dove.
Everyone's like
completely missed.
Yeah, just like it took 3 fucking employees to tackle him down and pin him down.
Strong kid.
That kid was on the stuff.
He's got
I
heart.
don't even know what he was on. But like he had the power of Christ in him or something. I mean,
the power of God and anime. Whatever that
I've got
was.
the power of God and anime on my side. Don't fuck with me.
That's what that kid was.
That's what that kid was. He couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
So anyway, eventually he does get stuck in this tanker because he meets up with Mo.
Yeah, Mo kidnaps him because he sees him running away from his parents.
His parents like, hey, just get in. I'm like, oh, Mo just happens to be there.
He just throws him in the plane.
He's like, hey, come with me, and he just comes with me in the plane.
He might as well have said, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, he's practically Arnold Schwarzenegger of the movie.
I wish I would.
Dude, imagine if it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Just because, just all of that. I would imagine it.
You know why they call me Mo?
No, they call me Mo. More money, more problems, am I right?
Ha ha.
I always want Mo.
I just want to get this out of the way that at that point when they got out of the plane and went straight for that taxi. Oh wait, no, that wasn't. Whatever. I just wanted to make some pun about mowing it down. I was waiting for it. But it never happened, and I was really sad about that. But
there's a lot of missed opportunities in this film.
Well, yeah, the whole
as
thing.
much as it did deliver, I mean, it just still gives you like so many opportunities, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's almost good though, because it leaves a lot of room for things like that. Like
A lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff. That's
Right.
right.
Leaves you a lot of stuff to think about.
It leaves
And
a lot of stuff to be
it ends
decided.
on a note where there could have been a sequel, but I don't think they ever made one.
Mm-hmm. It ends with a really crazy.
right before the completely.
God damn. Are we gonna just get to the end?
Oh, we don't have to. I mean, there's other.
I mean, the ending is pretty fucking great, but
Right.
I did not see that coming. But yeah, no, pretty much they all join together and they find this fucking militia
Yeah.
of.
They're the heroes.
Racists.
Yeah.
They're the weirdest. Okay, I'm reading it now. A little bit. It's a militia that battles zombies that transmit civil defense for Americans. It's practically just Alex Jones and company.
Yeah, the alt-right.
It's just pretty much
The Pizza Gators.
it's very much that.
Yeah.
But but early ahead of its time. It's just
Yeah, I mean, it was released in 1985, and if you showed this to anybody, they could have thought it was made today, you know.
Yeah, and then initially I was like, oh, it's just the military. That's literally what I thought. And then I'm like, okay, it's just these people who have survived away from the stuff. And then
But then they start talking.
And then they
It's
start
like,
talking,
oh,
and then they start saying crazy shit that we're like, oh my god, why
it's
would you
going
say
on
that?
rants. Yeah.
And then he hates commies, which I mean, I understand, but maybe not so much now as.
And then the kid
I don't
calls him
mention
out.
my hatred of commies as much as it did in the 1980s. I suppose that was still the end of the Cold War, but good God.
Lordy.
But yeah, so they meet up with him.
The kid calls him out for Vietnam.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, America's
War
never lost a
commentary
war.
in
He's
this
like,
movie.
what about Vietnam? Kid he's like, well, son, you're right. We lost that one at home, or something like that. I'm like, okay.
I thought that was
Skate past that.
Yep. And then there was the
Also, he didn't even mention Korea. We didn't win there.
Yeah.
We just left. But anyway, that's beside the point. But they all get together, a ragtag team of militia. fashionista slash PR professional. We got Mo the drunk. We eventually see Chocolate Chip Charlie again, hopefully. And then you also get this kid who he is the prophet of them all.
Yeah.
And so they try to take down this agency that has all the manufacturer of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Taking down consumerism.
Yeah. This movie's about America.
Fuck yeah! Thing I've ever heard.
Hey. You got anything else to say before I want to say the ending?
We can get to the ending now.
The ending's pretty great.
The ending sets it up for the stuff to the second helping.
Yeah, it's double stuff. So,
Double stuffed. I like that.
Okay, well, we're gonna spoil a little bit of it.
Oh, except they call it the taste.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The taste.
Forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So the stuff doesn't completely go away at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the evil.
It's on the black market now.
Mm-hmm. And there's the stuff junkies.
The stuff junkies who actually looked very much like actual junkies.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of surprised me. Like, what is this? I didn't even expect it to be the ending. I was just like, okay,
Didn't either.
this is gonna keep happening, and then like
But that still frame at the end, that
that
classic.
still frame. There's there's so many good zoom ins to this movie.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when Mo rescues the kid. For the first time,
Oh
I
god.
honestly don't remember.
he's
that.
just like, "Who are you?" It's like,
Oh yeah,
Zooms in on this little boy. Who are you?
Oh, that was fun.
I also want
It does it twice too, doesn't it? Something like that.
It does some really crazy shit. I also want to say my favorite line from Colonel Spears, not the crazy shit he says. Well, he does say a lot of crazy shit, but this one
Yeah.
is still pretty funny. He's like, when they try to attack the compound for the first time, he's like, I kind of like the sight of blood, but this is disgusting.
Yeah, because he
As soon
shoots.
This gushing.
Yeah, gushing-
just sentient yogurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure blood's more disgusting. And
Yeah.
also, your man just got shot. What the fuck?
I know.
I think my favorite line in the whole movie was Mo going.
I can't see what Casey just did, but he just fondled some balls as he was whispering to the colonel.
That's what happens in the movie.
And the colonel just went cockeyed and was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, and
So,
then there was the
yeah.
comment about him throwing him off the bell tower. I thought that was fun too.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck that was
Don't
about.
either.
That whole scene, like,
I don't. Yeah.
I can
What?
throw you off this bell
Yeah.
tower. What for?
Well, no, the opening, just the whole line. I'm like, what are we talking about? Is this the same movie?
it wasn't.
I don't. All I know is the stuff is still around.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, the sponsor of this particular podcast episode is the stuff itself. So, if you are
It's
near a
actually
convenience
good
store, or a superstore, or honestly any place that sells food items,
Yeah.
get the stuff.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
It's important to make sure that everyone's aware that the stuff is actually Activia.
Activia.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get sued if Activia ever hears this.
Nah, Jamie Lee.
That ain't true.
Jamie Lee doesn't listen.
She's cool. She's cool.
If Paula Deen is still a thing.
She was canceled many years ago.
Yeah,
but she's
she
got a
ate a
restaurant
lot
in
of stuff, and that stuff is butter.
Butter.
Paula Deen style. Well, I want to thank Casey for being around and watching the stuff with us
Thank you.
and joining
Getting
us.
stuffed as a team.
Getting stuffed.
We all got stuffed as a team, all at once.
It hurts my heart.
Well, it should. It's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's not healthy, man.
Mm-mm. So, do you want to rank these movies, or did you want to?
Well, number one. That's a tough one.
I pick Stuff in the Hole. It's both.
Yeah.
They're both good movies. You should check them out. If you haven't seen 1985's The Stuff or 1951's Ace in the Hole, I would recommend both.
Yeah, I hope that we, talking about it has made you realize what both of them are like, what kind of moods you would want to be in for them. So
Yeah.
they're both highly recommended for their respective reasons.
Yes, and so actually, speaking of just, well, I don't know where I'm transitioning here, but normally what we do here near at the end is we do a random number generator for 2 lists that we do.
Yeah, we spin the wheel.
Because what we just did just now, if you are new to the podcast, I know we hadn't really explained it near the beginning, but we try to talk a lot about low and high art, different culture, film, and this could be art house, foreign, B movies, you name it, and we try to combine the two.
Yeah, we just have the most hazardous combinations we could possibly put together.
Yeah, with no rhyme or reason. That's why this random number generator.
Yeah.
We leave it up to God, you know. So
yeah,
he's the one who.
He's watching.
And anime.
So what number did we get first?
All right, I'm gonna spin the wheel.
All right.
Real quick.
We're doing high art.
Let's do low first.
Low first.
We spun. We got to number 34.
We got 34.
I was trying to make the wheel sound.
34. Down, 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 down. Oh.
What's our first animated?
Our first animated film that I think I watched.
I think I saw this in theaters too. It's a Disney movie about war pigeons called Valiant.
Came out in 2005.
I remember this.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember jack shit about it. And
It's only 76 minutes long, so it'll be fine.
That's good. That's good.
I'll only waste about an hour of your life.
So what are we going to watch with this? Solo?
I hope so. I hope that's what God and anime decide.
Whenever
that sounds about
that,
right.
You should let me know, because I remember wanting to see that when I was small, but my parents wouldn't let me.
We're going to have a Valiant party.
All right, here we go. We're doing another random number generator, right?
Oh, yeah. Get the wheel back out.
Get the wheel back out. And we might have to do this twice. We've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
I think the number ends at 997. Okay. And generate. 969. That's pretty new, too. Diamonds of the Night.
Oh.
Let's check if we have that film. Actually, it's kind of related in a way.
What's
Yeah, because it's about a concentration camp, and both of them are about World War II.
Oh.
Wow.
Weird.
So, that is a weird combination.
There's no God.
I mean,
Come on.
not in these films.
This is all the proof you need. All you skeptics out there think you know everything about the world. Guess what?
You're wrong.
You got your shit rocked, baby.
I got
Courtesy of the
stuff.
Whistlemania boys.
So none of the stuff.
None of the stuff. All right, let me see if we have access to this film. Otherwise, I believe we should be good because it's pretty recent.
When did it come out?
I mean, recent release for
Oh.
our spine number that we're looking for.
Spine.
Yar.
Spine.
Come on, show me the money. Show me the money. I need some kind of transition. Someone talk.
Our wheel is broken at the moment.
I found it, so we are good.
Okay.
So it'll be Diamonds of the Night. And
Diamonds.
Valiant.
Diamonds of the Night and Valiant. Wow.
Diamonds of the Valiant Night.
I'm already trying to imagine both of these movies meshed.
Fucking.
Well, there's gonna be birds in both.
Pigeons flying over.
It's
concentration.
2 war movies. One of them is about fucking birds, and the other one is probably really harrowing.
So we're gonna have
that would be great. It's a history lesson, everybody.
it's a flight of a history lesson.
I know you probably haven't learned anything from this show yet, but next time
We're gonna
that's
take you to class.
that's gonna change educational purposes.
We timed that right.
That's what category this podcast is gonna fall under. Educational.
Educational.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Does anyone have anything else to say?
I think.
Well, I did just say rest in peace, Chocolate Chip Charlie. Nobody-
Oh yeah, that's true.
well, yeah.
A moment of silence.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everyone, or good morning. whenever you listen to this.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.